Hello, it's Mark Grogan from O'Neill Real Estate, and I am on the banks, I mean literally right on the banks of the Canning River, and this is a property in Kelmscott. We are sitting here at 141 Clifton Street in Kelmscott looking at the stunning Canning River that forms the very back boundary of your stunning property right here, so close to everything, yet seemingly a world away. Now, I know a lot of real estate agents say things like that, but this genuinely feels like a whole other part of the world, yet we are just a couple of minutes away from shops, from schools, from cafes, and from everything you need for a convenient modern life, but you can still come back and enjoy a convenient old-fashioned life because you've got 4,199 square meters of land with the Canning River right at the bottom of it. Yeah, this is a lifestyle like no other. Stunning trees, an absolutely beautiful position right down here at 141 Clifton Street in Kelmscott. We have got a lot to see. We're kind of starting backwards here because I've started at the back of the block. We're going to work our way back up and into the house. We're going to take a journey to see everything room by room, thing by thing, as we make our way around this property. Oh, look, you can watch it in reverse if you want to get to the house. Just skip along, you'll find it. In the meantime, we are going to take the tour and see everything that is on offer with this. So the Canning River, running right through it, who would have known that that is right in the backyard of properties that are just a couple of minutes away from everything? It's a pretty extraordinary location. You might have known that, of course, if you're a local. If you're not, you're going, how is that so close to everything? Jump on the map and see just how close all of the services that you need for life are to this amazing property. And then right along the back boundary, that gorgeous Canning River. There is so much to enjoy. It is like living in the olden days, but it ain't the olden days. It's 2026, and this is exceptionally good buying. Very, very practical family living that we're going to go and see in a moment. But I'll put it in summary for you. We have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and we have 2 kitchens. We have a design that is really pretty much set up for multi-generational living. You can see that on the floor plan that's available at markgrogan.com.au, but we're going to go and see the house in a whole bunch of detail, and you can see it even better than in the floor plan, I hope, by the time you've seen that. Anyway, that's enough about that. For now, we are going to focus on this beautiful backyard. What a great place to live. I mean, this is what's going on. All this space, exceptionally good soil, grow some great fruit trees, grow some great lawn, all of it, of course, with the backdrop of the Canning River. It is let me start again. It is an absolutely incredible location. I think I've said that once or twice already. I'm going to say it a whole bunch more times. Buckle up for me saying how good of a location this is, because I don't think I can really reiterate it enough. It is just such a great place to be. So this is your garden, all established. Lots of little paths that wind here and there. Now, whilst this is a room by room tour, I won't sort of take every path, but I will give you a bit of an idea as to what's going on. Little trails through here, little garden areas where you can sit and enjoy the nature that surrounds you. Did I mention it's an incredible location? Stunning bird life, all of that right here in your own backyard. It is very special indeed. All right. Let's make our way up from here. You've got a basic idea as to what's going on down there. I really want you to come and see it for yourself, though. To make that happen, if you're already on board, just go to markgrogan.com.au and set up an appointment to come and see this. Of course, stick around for the full room-by-room tour if you want to see what it is you're going to see when you come here and see it with your own eyes. As I said, we're going in reverse, so let's start out on this side. We have a great entertaining area. We'll do the full loop. I think we'll do the 360 of this property by the time we're finished. How long is it going to take? I got no idea. There's lots to see, though. So we'll find out what we're going to do as we go. This is one of your outdoor living spaces. Really good room to work with here. All of it positioned, of course, to look at that great view from your back door. Where else can you go to find something like that so close to your house? There's your house, there's your backyard. Absolutely exceptional, it really is. And we'll make our way around, have a look at all of these areas outside, then we'll go through and maybe come out and see some more. Probably see some more of it from inside too. It does have that beautiful backdrop from wherever you stand. You're seeing it right in the middle of winter too. So as you can imagine, these vines through the warmer months providing beautiful shade across the back of the house and looking absolutely spectacular. So there's the main living space, by the way. You walk straight out there and that's what you see. And we'll head back around this way. I've really got to show you this house. I'm not going to do the full lap of the outdoor area up the top. We'll do that at the end. For now, let's go through and see this house, because there's a lot to get excited about there as well. So I'll start here, right? Because I'm going to tell you, over on that side, that's like the granny flat side. This side straight ahead, this is the main house side. So let's go through and check that out. I'll give you a crash course and then I'll give you the room by room kind of look around so you can see what's going on. Remember, like just moments ago, I said, come out here from this living area because this is your main living area? Well, this is that main living area. This is what you walk into if you come in from this side. Beautiful space. Through here we have the kitchen. More living area, and the meals area would probably quite comfortably work within this space. We have 3 bedrooms. We have one here. We have another here. And we have another here. Don't worry, we'll come and see it all in detail. Then we have the laundry. Back around to, again, just for context, back around to that side where we were before. And where I think I might have been banging on about the view and the location. Just a chance. That's the bathroom. And then on this side, the other side of the living area. Love that living area. We're going to come and explore that just properly in a moment. We have 1 bedroom, a study, the 2nd bathroom, and a whole nother living space. Yes, we have all of that on offer with this one. So this is what you might class as the granny flat side. It is, man, look, even as a 41-year-old male, I'd be quite happy to be your granny if this is the granny flat that I got. It's a great place to live and a very, very pleasant outlook. We'll come and see that in a moment. I promised we were going to start in that living area, so let's go back there and see what's on offer. All right, so here we go with the living space. And we have this beautiful raked ceiling, creating a lovely sense of space through here. It's all tiled as well. I'm loving this little nook right here. Can you imagine? So there's a lot of options when you're spending this kind of money on a property. You could go to a nice suburban house, or you could go to a nice 141 Clifton Street Kelmscott house. And that's what you're looking at while you're having breakfast. Yeah. Kind of a hard call, isn't it, between suburbia, like in its most colorbond and parapet wall form, versus that. Now, I want to stay here and just keep looking at that, but this is a video, and I guess the format is that if you want to keep looking at it, you can pause it, but maybe other people want to move on. So I suppose I'd better do that as we work our way around the breakfast table and consider the size of this living space. Very versatile kind of setup. We've got the TV in the corner at the moment. You could have that on the wall. And, you know, I think it's all been designed so that you don't have your back to the view. And that would be a darn shame, I got to say, to not be looking out the window while you're watching the TV. And that is what you look at. That is a sliding door, the one I mentioned before, actually, that opens up to that section of the yard. So that's brilliant. And we'll head back this way. We're going to call this the main side. Mind you, the other side is not exactly like the sub side. This is the main side because there's 3 bedrooms on this side. Now, it's a close-offable house being built in the 70s. It does have close-offable elements to it. You can close that door and kind of keep this space separate from that living area, but most often that door is left open. The kitchen. Pretty original. I guess when we're looking at styling for 2026, I don't think this color has made quite the comeback that some might have expected, although, you know, we might be getting close. Having said that though, whilst the color scheme is not modern, it is still very functional. When you look at what's here, it's solid timber doors. Have a look at this. So, solid timber. They could probably paint up very nicely. Doesn't take a lot to take a space that's original and just add a little bit of modernness to it. One classic thing from that era is the double sink. Drainer on that side, drainer on that side. And you know, like if that's your biggest concern, but then also that's your view, really? I mean, also, real estate agent who left the blind down and should have opened it, really? 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 Really, really? Really, really good. Did I mention the location and the view? I mean, it is absolutely exceptional. It honestly is. That is what you get every day while you're standing at the sink. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I gotta say, this might be one of the best ones anywhere in the area. So I will show you the rest of it now because, I mean, that does matter, I suppose. And we have LPG in this area, gas cooktop right there. I just said LPG. It's not. It's mains gas. Sorry, mains gas. Forget the LPG comment. You can have LPG if that's what you want for your barbecue. In the meantime, though, that's a gas oven and a gas stove. That's all brilliant. Speaking of gas, that's often referred to as a element of the heating. So we'll talk about that. And that is a split system air conditioner. It heats, it cools, you know the drill with those. One of those in here. And again, like in terms of styling, the raked ceiling, all of that over there. Very nicely done. Such a cool place to work with. Another thing that I mentioned before was gas, only moments ago. There's a gas bayonet for heating. Yep, it's all here. It's all good to go. And I mean, why did I not have that blind open for that view before? Look at that. Look at that. That's what you're seeing from back there. Oh yeah, it is a very pretty place to be. Get over it, Mark Grogan. Start showing us the facts. No worries. You come here and you try and get over it. It's pretty hard, I got to tell you. Once you've seen it in person, oh my goodness, it's all you can think about. All right, this is bedroom number 1 over on this side, the main bedroom. Good quality carpets through here. All in good nick. We have the built-in wardrobes. Hanging space. I'm going to give you the home open experience. I know if you're here at a home open, you would feel comfortable doing this. Home open, cupboard, some shelving space over on that side, hanging space, shelf space. Oh yeah, I mean, we're getting into all the details here. The river and inside the cupboards. We're not going to leave a thing unturned in making sure you see this property for everything that it has to offer. And, you know, if that's getting too much, you're welcome to skip along. This is bedroom number 2. Beautiful space. Again, you've got the raked ceiling in here. Still a good size. That's a single bed that's there currently. It'd fit a double. It's comfortable on that front. And in terms of extra length for a king single, well, that'd work too. You could put that on that side. You could still put it on this side, but plenty of room to work with in this room. Bedroom number 3. It's the one with the view. Maybe you'd use this as bedroom number 1 and number 1 becomes number 2. I don't know. That's your call. It's your place. That's your choice. You have built-in robes here again. Oh, look, I'll skip it. I know I've sort of set the precedent now that you want to see inside all the cupboards. So, well, I'm assuming that you do. Maybe you skipped along because I showed you in the other one. You were like, dude, that's way too much detail. I don't think it is. I don't think you can have too much. That is what you've got in those cupboards. And a really lovely outlook from here, which I may or may not have mentioned before. All right, so that is this section. And then we go through to the main bathroom, which has the vanity, the toilet, the shower, and the little bath. So that's what's going on in here. Not super modern, but it is super clean. That is one thing that this house really has just absolutely nailed. Well, not the house actually. The owners have absolutely nailed in terms of keeping it absolutely pristine. It is so clean. You really won't have that horrible kind of move in and just like scrub because, oh my goodness, somebody else used to live in this house. Yuck. It's not like that at all. It is spotlessly clean from front to back and side to side, incidentally. You've got a skylight in here too. So, you know, depending on which angle you look best in with the light, you've got it coming from all sides. And we have through here the laundry, some storage there, plenty of room for stuff up there, space for the washing machine, and the trough. And then it's back out to the side where I was banging on before about the view. You got the drill, you know how it's working. And let's go back to Grandma's side. So, Grandma, tremendous character. Mine was. Could I have lived with her? I don't know. I reckon we could have. She was pretty good, old Flo. And she was actually very good. Miss Flo. Okay. So, you can close that door so Flo has her side of the house. And you can also close this cupboard so it doesn't look like there's a door right there. So, you know, privacy both sides if that's what you need. You don't need Flo wandering over and telling you how to make things better on your side of the house if you don't want to. But of course, you know, she would always have found a way, in my experience, to get her opinions across to you. She was just that kind of gal. And we loved her for it. We really, really did. Sort of appreciated that retrospectively. And this is her bedroom. By the way, I mean, I'm talking about Flo. It could be for anyone. It could be for Frank. It could be for Herb. It could be for the kids. It could be for that kid that keeps on coming back. It could be for you. I don't know who you are or what your situation is, but one thing is for sure, this is some great space under the same roof, but completely separate if you need to be. So this is your living space. We're going to go and see the rest of that bedroom and the bathroom on the other side in a minute. Other side as in other side of that wall. But all of this super well set up, such a great position with, again, that high ceiling and that beautiful outlook from here. Imagine, you know what, I reckon if Flo had a view like this, it would have been a little bit less kind of, I don't want to say interference because it sounds interference. I reckon that's probably the word. She was great though. And some pretty good advice, realistically. Again, retrospectively. That's just my thoughts on my grandma. Love to know your thoughts on yours. And this is what space is all about, folks. Really nice space left to right, but also nice space floor to ceiling. The kitchen. All this is very practically set up. Fridge recess, a little bit of storage there, plenty of storage there. Gas cooktop, the bench space, and a really nice outlook. In the middle of summer, get a beautiful breeze coming up through there, open up those windows, filling this space with a lovely cross breeze between that window and having that door open as well. It would just be so pleasantly airy in here. That's all tiled. This is carpeted. It was obviously at one section there that's disguising the space between your side and Florence's. And we have plenty of storage for all her bits and pieces in there. More that way. Hanging space, shelf space. And if she's a super tall grandma, a bit of storage up there as well. The bathroom has the toilet, the vanity. Check that makeup flow. Check that hair, put those curlers in, all of that. And the shower. The study. That's where Flo would have had her keyboard. Actually, I keep talking about my grandmother. You don't need to know about her. She had a keyboard, a Casio keyboard. We used to change the settings on it just for fun because it would leave her perplexed for a couple of days. You know, those are the things we did in the 1990s. We didn't have Netflix, so we'd entertain ourselves by confusing our grandmother. That's Travis Grogan from O'Neill Real Estate. That was probably the worst for that, I'll be honest. And Mark wouldn't have done stuff like that. He was far more mature. All right, we have a pretty good overview of what's happening on the granny flat side. Awesome space, but by the way, if you don't need it to be set up that way and it's just that you need a 4x2, well, it's very much that kind of design. You can have this door open. Gee, you could take the door off its hinges if you really wanted to, and you've just got that nice flow back through that way. So, not flow as in my grandmother, who was nice, but you don't have flow on this side. She does not come with it. Well, she can't come with this property now. It's not really an option. But you have a nice FLOW flow, not a nice Florence. All right, so that is how that is all set up. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good overview as to what is happening inside. We are 21 minutes deep into this video. Maybe, Grogs, you should hurry it up. Maybe I should. Okay, I'll show you out the front and then I will show you the shed and a couple of other things. But for now, we are going to go and see this driveway and entrance side of the property. Then we're going to have a look at the tennis court. There's still so much to see. All right, that's your garden upon arrival too, by the way. Very attractive, very nicely established. All of that is just gorgeous. And that's it in winter. I mean, can you imagine it in spring? Even in summer. Just so much shadier than being in that hot, flippin' suburban sun where everybody's got a black roof, Colorbond fences holding that heat in. You're basically living in a pizza oven in half of these houses. This is completely different. So, your driveway, you have the bitumen driveway coming straight down here. A little bit of parking here if that's where you want to stop. Or you can continue on the loop. Now, I mentioned before that that was the front door, obviously, where we entered the house originally. But I think more often than not, it was that laundry door side that got used. And that makes sense. By the way, just that section there could be parking if you rented out that granny flat side or needed that kind of separate access all the time, because it has its own access from there. Should I have shown you that? You can work it out. It's a more common thing that the driveway would be followed all the way through and then entrance via the laundry. We have the shed down here. Extra little bit of parking on the side for a trailer or whatever. Heaps of room to work with out here. And then this is back around to that side where I was banging on before about the view, if you recall. That kind of gives you the loop. So that's the entrance over there, that open door. And that's where they would, generally speaking, come into the home. Now I'm going to show you this tennis court. Well, tennis court or basketball court, depending on your preference, or depending on the season. Up here, we've got all of this extra garden area, play area, trampoline, whatever you want, really. There's just a good amount of space here. Should not be disregarded because that is quite a bit of room. And when you're looking at approximately 4,199 square meters of land, you're going to find nooks and crannies to enjoy. Crannies, not grannies, because you don't have to have my granny living with you. Because you can't. All right. So this was the tennis court, the basketball court, the hard surface play area. I mean, it's 2026. Perhaps it's pickleball in your family. I believe that's taking off and all the kids love it. Maybe that's what you're doing out here. I don't know what ideas you have. Perhaps it's the basketball court. Perhaps it's the tennis court. Who knows? Everything's a play area here at 141 Clifton Street in Kelmscott. the river itself, the lawns, the gardens, the trees. I mean, this is growing up right. This is how it's done, folks. You can stuff your suburbia in a sack. This is the way it should have been done. It's like the olden days, but in the new days. So cool. All right, let's go down and have a look at the chook pen. By the way, we'll see that. See that little building there? We'll go and check that out. Gorgeous camellias. Alrighty. So this little space here, not powered, but either great storage or you could get it powered and it becomes a nice little home office that's slightly separate from the rest of the house. It's paved, so it's like an outdoor kind of room, but it's versatile, okay? You've got some options with this one. And from here, you have a really nice outlook. I should have mentioned it before, but there's a very nice view from this property. Looking out over your own block and down to the Canning River. Whew, what a position. What a position. All right, so I'm going to do the rest of this side because you haven't seen this. I mean, this is more detailed than a home open would be. We've been going for 26 minutes. Most home opens are only on for half an hour. So, and I'm not even going to ask you to sign in at this point. Can I get your details and add you to a newsletter list? And then hound you every couple of days? Standard real estate thing. We won't hound you if we get your contact details. But we would like to help you. Of course, if there's anything you need help with, you can go to markgrogan.com.au if you're looking for an appraisal on your property. We can set that up. If you're obviously looking to book an inspection on this one, more importantly, we can set that up as well. If you have other specific questions about my grandma that I didn't cover off already, let me know. She was from Pemberton originally. So if you've got any Pemberton connections, that was on the maternal side, so not the same surname. Of course, if you've got any questions about Betty Grogan, that's on Dad's side, well, you know, be sure to ask those as well. I don't think you will have any questions on that. I'm just trying to say, we're really helpful at the Mark Grogan team. But if you've got a Betty Grogan or a Pat Fox, aka Flo, in your life that you need to house, let's have a chat about it regarding this property because there is a lot of room for them, even down here. Yes, indeed, even down here. We're going down to the bunker and I love this space. This was probably built possibly before the house. I don't know what was here before the house, but these Riverside blocks, there's all kinds of bits and pieces that happened there. It's sort of got like World War II gunner position vibes. I don't know. I don't know what the history of it is. Inside, it's a brick one. The corrugated iron on the top. The concrete on the top. Old concrete too. Mixed in a barrow kind of concrete. I don't know what was going on down here. It's good storage. It's a handy little thing to have. But if you've got kids and you're in that sort of, you know, I don't know what sort of parenting style you have. I don't do this. You know, you get the, I'm going to count to 3. And then like, what are you going to do when you get to 3, you know? You could incorporate that. When you get to 3, that comes into play. I think it's just a little bit of a, I don't know, just feels like a nervous place for a kid to spend the night. Meanwhile though, it's great storage. Okay, this is the other side of the block. We didn't come across here before, but since we're, 29 minutes deep, why not do all of it? And around here, we've got all this space. It's all clear. It's good dirt. You can see that stuff just wants to grow in it. all sorts of trees alongside the river. You can clear that some more. You can make it into your own private little park right alongside the river. It is such an incredibly unique place to be. Didn't get to the chook pen, did I? Maybe we'll just have one quick last look at the river. Oh, that's a pretty shot, isn't it? Whoa. Look, if you're this far in, please give us a like and subscribe just purely for that little bit of the sunset behind river. I mean, goodness me, what a place to be. All right, I'll very quickly show you the chook pen, and then you need to go to markgrogan.com.au and set up a time to come and see this for yourself, with your family, with your flow, with your kids, with whoever it is that you want to be living here with. And then we can set up a time to make that happen. It has been raining properly today. There is good drainage. I'm certainly seeing that. It's clearing nicely. The odd little puddle, but that's all in the garden. That's where puddles are supposed to be. This section through here, bit of no man's land currently. You could make that an extension of this chook pen. It wouldn't be an Aussie backyard without the Hills hoist. It's got the Hills hoist. And all of that. So the chook pen, bit of that space, bit of that space. I mean, look, you don't have to sleep in there. But it's pretty good if you're a chook. That's not a bad spot to be. So that sums it up. We can't finish over at the chook pen. We've got to go and finish. Well, there's quite a good view down the block from here, so maybe we'll finish up by looking at that. That's what it's all about, folks. 141 Clifton Street. We've banged on for nearly 141 minutes. Hopefully that shows you everything you need to see, and now it's just a matter of coming and seeing it in person. I've already told you how to make that happen, but just in case you forgot, go to markgrogan.com.au, check it out before you do on Google Maps and see just how close it is to so much, and then come here and be shocked that it's as close to all of that as the map shows you, because it really doesn't feel like it. That's the tour, folks. Thanks so much for sticking around. I look forward to seeing you here.